your gloves on, touch them up. Let's get into it. Today on the weigh-in show, the fighters we all know and love on the weigh-in show, we're discussing their top 5 favorite fighters to never fight for a title. And DC and Dean Thomas had some very interesting picks. These guys are commentators. They are inside, like they have all the inside information. They know a lot. They're smart. I don't want this to seem like I am dissing them, but sometimes these guys just do not know what is going on versus like a hardcore fan. Like there is so many people on social media that are hardcores and they really know more than some of these guys like DC, like Joe Rogan, like Michael Bisping. We just know more, dude. And I say this not to diss them because I have respect for all of them. They're just sometimes listening to them, it's like, dude, what are you talking about? It's like you can go about this a better way. Like we know Joe Rogan, it's the same thing with him. He's like a Woody toy. You pull it back and it's the same 4 different phrases, dude. But so on the weigh-in show today, Dean Thomas and DC were talking about their top 5 favorite fighters to never fight for a title. DC's was at number 1, Tony Ferguson. Number 2, Damian Maia. Number 3, Zabit Magasharipov. And then Jim Miller and then Gerard, whatever the hell. Doesn't matter. But who in there has never fought for a title? Because Damian Maia has. Like, what are we doing right now? You are a double champion. You are very well respected in the UFC MMA community. And your second one is Damian Maia. Favorite fighters to never fight for a title. Like I say, bro. Damian Maia fought against Anderson Silva. Terrible fight, by the way. One of the worst ever. And Damian Maia also fought Tyron Woodley. I don't know if they just have off days sometimes, because that's what it seems like. A lot of these guys will just ramble off a bunch of random mumbo jumbo and just say whatever. They're not gonna know. They don't watch the sport, but we do, dude. We love this sport. There's a reason there's people like me around. There's people all over TikTok, YouTube, doesn't matter, anywhere, that know more than DC, Joe Rogan, Dean Thomas, all these guys. We know more than them because they just think that they can get away with stuff like this. And maybe this is just one incident. There's been so many more, like DC on the commentary table. This has happened twice now. Okay, one time is whatever, but this has happened twice now, and the second time was not too long ago. DC said, I actually just got a text message. Ooh, DC, what'd the text message say? He just stopped it there. That's all. He says, I actually just got a text message. And then that was it. It was just complete silence after that. So, what are we doing? You can't just say, bro, you got a text message and not say what the hell was on the text message, man. And then he did it again like maybe 2 weeks ago. I actually just got a text message. And, brother, DC, what? I just get so annoyed with the guy sometimes and the favoritism that this guy has for certain fighters because he is a wrestler. DC, he's one of the best ever, dude. You could argue him for top 10 of all time. I wouldn't put him in my top 10 of all time, but some people can. But dude, the amount of time, like if you see an American wrestler and sometimes you tune out the commentary, you don't understand it, but I've gotten to the point where after a year of listening to commentary from guys like DC, that started with Joe Rogan, but DC will glaze. I'm telling you like no other. He will glaze the American wrestlers. Ooh, he puts the opponent in a really good position, and DC is all over that. Oh, he's gonna finish him. He can finish him right there. And he's losing his mind over it. It's like, brother, you are a commentator. You are not supposed to have favoritism here, and he does, and he's not the only one, dude. Joe Rogan does the same shit too, and I know Bisping does as well, but Bisping's I feel like is a little better. Sometimes Bisping's annoying, but mainly DC and Rogan are on my shit list right now. And like I said, man, I'm not trying to disrespect them. I just want what's best for the sport. Like, you need some other talent. I get what the UFC is trying to do by putting these fighters in these commentary desks like they did for Poirier, like they did for Weidman. They've done it for DC. They're going to continue to do it. There's a lot of fighters that are like sitting at the desk. They do the post-fight interviews, pre-fight, whatever. So I get the UFC trying to do that. But if you want to do a good job, like, there is hardcore fans like us. We are hardcore fans. You need to tell them to work on their A game. I understand you're a busy guy, DC. I get it. You do wrestling camp, stuff like that. But, brother, I have my own stuff to do, and I break down every single fight almost every week. I try to do it every week, but, man, DC, this is your job, brother. And you just... Some of the things these guys say, bro, it's like they'll just spew random shit out of their ass. I heard, I don't remember who it was. I think it was Bisping. He had said something like, this guy has great striking, not great grappling. He has some grappling, but it's not great. Guess what that fighter did? I don't remember the fight, but that fighter that he said didn't have great grappling submitted his opponent. So that just kind of shows you the knowledge that some of these commentators have. Now, onto Dean Thomas. He also had his top 5 favorite fighters to never fight for a title. And he had Umar Nurmagomedov at 2. So this is in the span, like, this is one episode, okay, on the weigh-in show this morning. And you have DC saying Damian Maia when Damian Maia fought Anderson Silva and Tyron Woodley. But now you got Dean Thomas saying that Umar Nurmagomedov never fought for a title. What is this, bro? Umar Nurmagomedov fought Merab for a title. What are we doing, bro? And if you don't know Dean Thomas, he was on The Ultimate Fighter. He is a coach, and you'll hear him every once in a while on the desk. They'll be like, let's bring in Dean Thomas to hear what he has to say. He's got some pretty good takes. I like Dean Thomas, but when you've been watching this sport for over like 3 years now, when you first get into it, dude, the first year is like, oh, okay, that's cool. Like, it's good to hear, like, casuals, it's good to hear the stuff that they're saying, because it does help them. Like, Joe Rogan's not a moron by any means. Dean Thomas isn't, and DC certainly isn't. But after a while, it's like, okay, man, you're continuously saying the same thing over and over again. Like, say something else. Like, I know you're sitting there for... This isn't just with MMA, too. This can be with any freaking sport. It's not just UFC. This is just my favorite sport, so I'm going to critique it. It's not... I love watching. There's, like, obviously it's not to the point where it's absolutely garbage and I will never watch the UFC, because I love the UFC. It's my favorite sport. I'm going to continue to watch it. So it's not just the UFC, it's the NFL, it's the NBA, I'm sure it's hockey too, and some other sports, but just me critiquing my sport, like, Dean Thomas, I'd say, is one of the better ones, but the fact that you have DC saying Damian Maia, saying he never fought for a title, and then, and then you have Dean Thomas saying Umar Nurmagomedov never fought for a title. And this on the same show is just absolutely crazy. I showed a little sneak peek at the next one, but the greatest commentator of all time, dude. Now, Joe Rogan. I love JRE MMA. It's my favorite podcast to watch. However, I cannot listen to more than an hour of UFC commentary, dude, because I'm telling you, and you hear this everywhere if you watch any UFC YouTuber, and how the calf kicks, man, they changed the game. Even in some of his, like, there was a time, like a year and a half ago, I would just binge Joe Rogan podcasts while I was at work. I would just put them in my pocket and listen to them. And after you get to like the 20th one, you're hearing a lot of the same thing out of Joe Rogan. Well, dude, Benson Henderson, when he started doing the leg kicks, dude, it changed the game, man. oh, this guy's jiu-jitsu is just insane. Like, it's the same. This is the whole point of the video, because it's the same. They can't switch it up. Like, let's talk about what is going on in the fight, because I guarantee some of the people that love watching UFC, MMA, whatever, would be amazing commentators, dude, because I can sit here. I can't do a fight companion yet because I don't have enough subscribers, but when I get to that, I could sit there, watch the fight, and I could call out everything that's happening and what is going on. Because Joe Rogan will see someone take a calf kick. Sometimes he's right, sometimes he's wrong. He's like 60% of the time he's wrong. He kicks the calf, and Joe Rogan's all over it. I know how much he loves the calf kick, dude. Shane Gillis was on his podcast and made fun of him, because it's not just UFC fans that know this. Everybody knows that Joe Rogan loves the calf kick. And you talk bad about the calf kick, dude. Don't ever think you're coming on a Rogan podcast, man. So let's get some new faces in the UFC. It's probably not going to happen, but it's getting kind of ridiculous that you still got, it's just annoying every freaking week. Brendan Fitzgerald's okay. I don't think Brendan Fitzgerald's an MMA fighter, but he does alright at commentary. John Anik. The only reason I can tolerate John Anik is because he's got a cool voice. That's the only reason, but these guys don't know as much MMA, UFC as the rest of us. It's kind of like a Dana White thing. They kind of care about other things more than UFC, especially Joe Rogan, dude. Joe Rogan does not need the UFC, nor does UFC need him, and I think Joe Rogan needs to be the first commentator to go. But, dude, Rogan averages like 2-3 million views on any podcast he does, especially if it's with the president. But if he brings a guy on like John Jones, if he ever brings on McGregor, then, dude, that's getting 5 million at minimum, you know? Joe Rogan does not need the UFC. We need to get somebody on the commentator desk, somebody else. You know who I like? I like Laura Sanko. She does her research. I believe she's really good, and maybe my opinion will change in a few years. Maybe she'll start spewing the same kind of stuff over and over and over again, but I think Laura Sanko is very smart, and she actually knows ball. So, yeah. I just think that us as UFC fans, MMA fans, we know more than some of these fighters, ex-champions, ex-fighters, whatever, dude. I think we know more, dude, and I think more of us need to be able to get on the wave of, like, it's hard to start out. Like, this is how you have to start out. Like, I'm not a guy that, I don't train boxing every day. I don't do jiu-jitsu every day. Like, I've rolled a few times. I've boxed. Like, my first starting out, that's how I got into MMA, was boxing. Some guy said, I want to learn how to box, and he showed me how to box. And then I've rolled a little bit here and there. But it's hard to start off with just YouTube going that route. You got to build yourself up, and eventually a lot of us are going to make it, especially if you got a good mindset about it. But yeah, I just needed to ramble about that because so many more of us know about UFC than MMA in general, than like a Rogan, like a Bisping, like a DC, Dean Thomas. And like I said in the beginning, it's no disrespect. I just want what is best for the sport. And I think some new faces would be great. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe so I can go live and start doing fight companions. Goodbye.